Good morning, everyone. So we're getting a bit of a bounce here in the markets. Um, be careful. It looks like the chop is here. For those option buyers like myself, it's gonna get rough. It's gonna get rough. The time decay is coming, and it's not gonna be an easy time to trade right now. So right now we have the S&P 500's up 16 points here, which is positive. But then we have here Nasdaq futures slightly down. We have the Dow Jones slightly up, and the Russell 2000 here. So now we're seeing the pullback here on a Nasdaq tech. Good news is the VIX is coming down, but not to be fooled. Not to be fooled. This could chop. So there is still a lot of. We need to give it some time to develop here. There's still potential for chop here. So we need to be careful out there. One of the big movers, stamp.com today, was recently bought out. Was bought out. The news was just announced. And the stock is up huge, all-time highs here, pretty much at 324. So there was no way of getting into that trade. That trade basically was you were there you're either invested in stamps or you weren't. There's no way to know this one. So big move there out of stamps.com. Also some more news there. HGen here had some positive news. In the UK, they got approved for COVID. Let me pull up the exact same here. Let me pull out the exact. The exact article here. HGen here gets expedited review approval for marketing authorization of COVID-19 treatment in the UK. So some more positive COVID news there for HGen. We also have Hall of Fame resorts there and entertainment in partnership with esports entertainment. So we see a new partnership there, and we're seeing ticker symbol GMBL getting some uptick there for that partnership. Actually, right now pre-market is slightly down. I believe it was slightly up a little bit earlier. Let me double check on my other app here. That might be a little bit off. It was up earlier. Just slightly. It's up right now. 39 cents. Yeah, this is not up to. This is not refreshed. It's currently trading at 1080 here. GMBL. So a new partnership there. Some slight positive news for GMBL. Carve here once again trending. Carve back up. Currently at 32.97. Carve at 32.97. Let's take a look at Newegg. Newegg here flat at 46.05. So just up 25 cents. Let's take a look here. AMC. AMC slightly up here in the pre-market, 48.60. There was a short interest update here. We have AMC continues yesterday's strong momentum and is up 3.5% in pre-market. Estimated short interest in AMC is 18.98 of free float. So AMC here still heavily shorted, and still potential there for a run. These big down days creates that momentum for that potential big move. And we did see a relatively nice move there out of AMC. It traded the lows on AMC 38.76 and the highs 49.79. So over $10 there yesterday on the move from bottom to top. We're here at 1 minute off the open here. Um, I don't see anything that's really standing out here. And we're off to the open. Pubmatic here slightly up at 37.60 here on Pubmatic. Let me pull out here level 2 here. So we do see Carve, big volume coming in, and we do see nice buy side here out of Carve. Does Carve have more juice for today? Potentially here. Closed yesterday down big at 21.50, and it's up currently at 33.46. So potential there for Carve. We see some resistance here at 35. 36.50. Just got chewed up there. 35 just got chewed up. Strong open there out of Carve. Strong open 38, 32. Big volume there. Um, level 2 here showing now some resistance at 39 and at 40. Big volume there. Big move out of Carve here. Right at the open. Any here at 335. Another heavily shorted stock here. Any potential here to make a parabolic move. So one that that I'm currently following here. Reshape Life, one that's also here currently trending. It's up at 61 cents here, 570. FPAC here getting a nice uptick at 36 cents here, currently trading at 1028. And Carb now cooling down. That was a very aggressive move there at the open. Now it's back down to 35. And NVIDIA here, if we take a look at level 2, it's going to be difficult for NVIDIA to move up today. We see some selling here and potential support here at 780 and 750, which is not looking good. We're going to have to wait and see how this pans out. 790 support there. So a little more skewed to the sell side here on NVIDIA, not looking good. ARPO, one that I traded yesterday. Now it's currently down 243. We are seeing the VIX cooling down 1721. We're seeing a slight uptick here on ticker symbol ANY, Sphere 3D Corp. Highly shorted here. Potential for a move up here. We need to take a close eye here on any. Here, level 2, big a green volume candle today. But we are seeing some resistance at around 368 here for any. HSBC today upgraded NEO to a buy from hold with a $69 price target. So NEO getting an upgrade here. And we're seeing a nice pop here out of ticker symbol ANY here, any. So this is a heavily shorted stock. Back in November, they had a reverse stock split, which is extremely negative. And this is one ticker that gets a lot of action. And we're going to have to wait and see what we get out of this. Currently 357. We have to see if it can break out of this 375 price range. And then next target is 450. And then we're off to the races to around 550. So potential there on any here. 356. RSLS here trending, but also just had a reverse stock split here. So not so good here. These are bad. Hey, Davis. Good morning. Good morning, Davis. So we have here S&P 500 here up 18 points, 0.42%. And we are seeing some green uptick out there, but not for the NASDAQ. NASDAQ futures is down. Dow Jones is up here. And we have the Russell 2000 up here. Vuzi, one that I keep on talking about here, is at $17. ARK Invest continues to buy this one week after week, day after day. It's their addiction. This is ARK Invest addiction right now. This is the ticker symbol that they love buying right now. We're seeing here Pfizer ramping up here. It's currently at $39.99 here. And I believe they had some recent positive news. Let me double check there. So we're seeing more COVID positive news here. U.S. drug regulators, unmoved by Pfizer, plan to seek COVID boosters authorization. Let me read this article furthermore. So it looks like here, it says there isn't scientific evidence that COVID 19 booster shots are required. Hours after drug maker Pfizer said it would seek authorization for a COVID booster shot to help contain the Delta variant. So it looks like more Pfizer shots possibly coming our way here for that Delta variant. So positive news there for Pfizer, getting an uptick there, and it's at 39.90 at the moment, and positive news there for Pfizer. Far Peak acquisition here, holding at 1028. This is a SPAC here. Let me see who they are merging with. This was probably recently announced. Yes, so here is the news on FPAC. FPAC is merging with Bullish. Bullish plans to launch a regulated crypto exchange that offers deep, predictable liquidity for investors to generate yield from their digital assets. So this is a new SPAC merger agreement here, FPAC. Future ticker symbol to be announced, Q4 2021. Here, pretty decent big company here. This is based out of the Cayman Islands, and it's headquartered in Cayman Islands, and it's valued at $9 billion. So at a $10 valuation. So it's a relatively pretty big company there. Decent size. Block one there, Bullish. This was another one. Pulsar here. GGPI here. Volvo's EV car Pulsar here merging with GGPI. We saw a big move there out of this one yesterday. Another SPAC agreement there. Carve now back up 3870. This name is one that people are not letting go. Carve back up. What a move again. Wow. We had a slight pullback on Carve there. It's halted at 3870. It ramped up. It pulled back to around. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart here. Went as low as 32 and back up 3870. Here is Cohen and Company, one that ramped up yesterday all the way past $50, and now it's at 32.89 there. Cohen. I think this one we saw the bigger move out of Cohen before yesterday. I don't think we go back up there today. Also, it's a name with very low volume. It's not as liquid. So definitely love Carve more over Cohen. Newegg here holding up nicely at 52.01. Pugmatic here did gap slightly higher at the open, but not giving up those gains. Today is options expiration, so you might not see some of the best action today. We're gonna have to look out here, needle in a haystack kind of situation here, and try to find some deals here. Let's take a look at the major stocks here. Facebook, 347 here, pulled back heavily yesterday here. Potential buying opportunity. Adobe here holding nicely at 602. Not too bad for Adobe. How about Amazon? Can Amazon make new all-time highs? Not. It's struggling there. Chipotle, one that I like to trade. I haven't traded it recently, but I like to trade this one from time to time. Here currently at 1578. Holding strong, not really selling off here. Let's take a look at NEO. Had some positive news today. What is NEO doing? Wow, I haven't followed NEO. NEO broke down the $46 support level there very terribly yesterday. I did not see this yesterday. And wow, down big here. NEO now below my 46 price target of support here. So we are seeing some blood out there today. So it's tech here selling off. The VIX is cooling off, and we are seeing S&P 500 slightly higher than yesterday, but not the Nasdaq. The Dow Jones here are getting a nice uptick, and the Russell 2000. We did see a sellout here on oil, potential buying opportunity there if you want to do an oil play. So we are seeing some red here across some of our high growth stocks here. CCIV here holding above $25, which is a good sign. Let's see here. Wish here 1080. So we're gonna have to give it some time and wait and see how this develops. Galactan Therapeutics here slightly up $1. So making a nice move there. I have to see here what is going on with their they have negative net income here, no revenue. Straight a squeeze place here potentially. Let's look at another one here. LMPX here. LMP Automotive Holdings here up $1.80, up 13%. Any here, 371. Any. Very nice move there. Loving the action. I do have a position there on any. We see a lot of selling here, but that potentially can create momentum to the upside. Nice move there out of Any. Any looking pretty sharp. So Any here is going to have a hard time. We do see here some resistance around 375. So if it breaks 375, this might be we're off to the races on Any. We could probably see it go to 450. Virgin Galactic had a nice big move yesterday. Uh, a low of 43.05 with a high of 52.76, almost a $10 move there yesterday. Now it's back down, cooling off at 50. Here, Alf again consolidating between $14 and $15, and it will be interesting to see if this makes a move in the next upcoming weeks again. Potentially, here creating some momentum to ramp up. It will be interesting. We're in software here at 1875. Here at Tough Built Industries, we're seeing a move out of TBLT. TBLT also had a reverse stock split last year, so not too good, but that was some time back. TBLT potential there. So TBLT here doubled on Amazon in the first half of 2021. So TBLT here, positive news there out of TBLT. Let's take a look at level 2. Any now at 370, 374. Any making a nice move there. Potential there for Any to squeeze. So we're seeing TBLT here, volume there, pretty nice. Last 5 minutes, 3 million shares traded. So is one that's actually out there with some good attention. Also, any. I'll be right back. Good morning, Selling Booth, and good morning, PR. HOFV name here drop. Let's see. Hall of Fame Resort. Oh yeah, I think Hall of Fame Resort and Gamble here with a merger, I believe. Yes, Esports Entertainment. Yeah, looks like a deal there. Um, Good morning, Daniel. Going to buy CCIV under 20. Potential to go down. CCIV here at 25, holding around 25 for now. Neo also one that broke down pretty aggressively below the support level there of $46. Not looking too good there for Neo at the moment. It did get a price target increase to a 65 by an analyst, so that might create that V-shaped recovery. Excella here. Excella one that I see here popping up here, slightly trending here. Any here at 376. We broke that level of 375. Next price target for any 450. Any looking very healthy right now. I should have really gone in heavy here. I didn't. Now I'm regretting it. We're getting some news here. Almost $100 million of insider buying on Donut. That is Krispy Kreme there. Let's take a look at what is going on with Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme there, $100 million worth of insider buying there. That could be something huge there. Krispy Kreme's now has options, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw also yes, they have options now. So Krispy Kreme's rolled out options, I believe, today. Yes, they rolled out options today, and we're seeing big insider buying here out of Krispy Kreme. If we weren't trading red in the market, I would be very inclined to buy some options here on Krispy Kreme. I'm not too motivated right now with this market sell-off, but huge insider buying and huge potential there for Krispy Kreme. This one has my attention. This one has my attention. Krispy Kreme. What should I do here? I hope this is one that I don't regret. Not going to swing at this one at the moment. But does look very enticing. I just don't like that the market is selling off right now. I'm not feeling too confident. I do buy the dips and I am bullish. It's just I have a lot of exposure to the upside, so and I do have some time on some of the positions, so there's no real need for me to risk more capital at the moment. Just holding tight right now. Big, nice bullish move here on S&P 500 with a nice almost 180 reversal here, looking very nice. NASDAQ here fighting off, looks like it wants to come back up. Dow Jones, big, nice up move there, up 1%, looking very healthy. Russell 2002 making a comeback, and the VIX getting hammered down. So maybe, am I building more confidence for Donut? I don't know. I don't know. Ugh. This is probably one that I'm going to regret. Let's take a look at level 2 here. We see some resistance here at $20. We're about a few cents away. Opened at $8.25. Now it's up $1, $19.25, and some potential here out of Krispy Kreme. I'm not too sure how well they're doing. We do have some Krispy Kremes out here. There's not too many, and they do get busy. I remember they were expanding, and they actually had to shut down some of their stores. They were expanding rapidly out here in California. And then they had to close down some of their shops or some of their stores. We're seeing a big up move there, Krispy Kreme. Let's see here. We have Carve still trending. GALT here holding. SGOC. This is a new one. Let's take a look at Newegg. Nice, decent move there out of Newegg today. Low of 46, and now we're at 57. $10 move there out of Newegg. Very nice move. ASLN Pharmaceuticals also getting some nice action there. Davis, you bought donut. Is Golden Nugget at the bottom? Is it? We might have seen the bottom here at Golden Nugget. It did get an analyst price upgrade there. Davis, I'm living through you right now. I do want to buy it. I have too much exposure right now. I need to hold back, but it does look like a nice play there. Yeezus, spy calls from yesterday paying. Nice. Buying the dip there. Spy calls. Beautiful. Nice reversal there. If we look at the spy, big 180. We're back at almost all-time high levels from yesterday. Beautiful move there. Nice buy the dip opportunity there. Q's here, fencing off, fighting, trying to come back up to all-time highs. We're having a slight sell-off here on NVIDIA. Krispy Kreme's here, 1935. We're seeing some July calls out of Apple here. So what is going on here with Apple? We're seeing some out of the money calls here out of Apple there for July 23rd. Annie here broke the 375 price level here of resistance, but not pulling back. We are seeing some support coming in here. This is one highly shorted stock here. Opportunity possibly there for any. We see some support here out of Carve at 35. Let's take a look at U1. U1 has been trending, and I've been seeing that name pop up. U1 here. U1 899 hit a high yesterday. Nice move there of 1112. Let's look at some crypto miners. What is going on with Riot? Right here at 33. Not low enough for me. Mara at 28. How about Coin? Coin made a nice move. Coin 251 again. Beautiful buying opportunities. Nice move out of Coin there. Coinbase making a nice move. We're going back up. 251.99. Yesterday hit a low of 233. Beautiful move out of Coin there. $20 move. Well done there for Coinbase. We did see stamps.com here getting bought out. Huge 63% move there. Whoever had any options on stamps.com, which I'm sure almost no one did, because who's trading that, is cashing out like a bandit today. So stamps.com got bought out, and we see that huge up 63% appreciation there. It closed yesterday at 197, and it opened today at 322. So huge move there out of stamps.com. INMB here getting an uptick. This was kind of difficult here to take a swing. Extremely bullish chart here, and we're pretty much up here and we have a resistance here at around $25. Pretty hard time to buy there, but who knows? Maybe it goes higher. Not sure what the news is there on this one. Let me take a look here on INMB. I see yesterday got a target boost. So it got a target boost of 42. So I'm not exactly sure if that's why yesterday this ticker symbol got a target boost price target of $42. Big news, Virgin Galactic this weekend. Richard Branson is going to be the first billionaire tourist going to outer space. Huge headlines there. Virgin Galactic. If you want to roll some dice and go to the casino, you can take a stab at it here at $50. If it's a successful historic test flight and Richard Branson does go to outer space and it doesn't get rescheduled, I have no words here as to where this could potentially go. So if you want to roll some dice there, you want to go to the casino, Virgin Galactic here, potential play there for big speculation. It's scheduled for Sunday. So 2 days from today. Test flight is scheduled for Sunday. So come Monday morning, you're going to see Virgin Galactic on the floor, or you're going to see it sky highs. There is no telling where it might go. Maybe throw some yellow lottery plays. I am not liking any day trade action today. Not liking any of these names right now at the moment. You've been holding nice. You've been holding Virgin or you won? Okay, right on. Right on. So level 2 here on NVIDIA looking pretty steep. This is a potential buy the dip opportunity here around 792. We do see some minor support here at 790 and 780. Morning, Chris. Good morning. So we are seeing the markets turn here. Tech, not so much, but the overall markets, we're seeing a nice move there. So any there, momentum died off there out of any, 351 out of any. It did break here some resistance of 375, and I'm still optimistic here. Heavily shorted stock, and I do think here any has potential in the next days coming forward. It might take some time there. Today, it went up there. It might pull back here to around $3, $2.90. But I do think it can potentially create some traction to go higher. So RSLS continues to trend here. Pubmatic continues to trend as well, but pulling back. Let's see, Indy here. Indy here at 930. Carve continues to trend as well at 35.70. LMFA here, another one that is trending, now pulling back 480. What else is going on here? IPOF, what's going on with IPOF? So this is a Chamath Palihapitiya stock here, SPAC, currently at 10.15. I don't think they have a definitive agreement. Allight here at $9. And GMBL here, 10.90, merging there. Esports Entertainment merging with, what was the other company here? Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment, entertainment and partnership with Esports Entertainment. Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment with Esports Entertainment. So a merger there. So we're seeing some protection here. They're buying some SPY puts here for August. And the S&P 500 continues to truck higher. Yeah, NVIDIA killing our options. Yeah. We see here pretty flat. It is Friday expiration. And I will admit, NVIDIA's been in a complete terror even on Friday expiration. The past few Fridays have been extremely, they've been stellar out of NVIDIA, always closing higher. And today is actually the first like real red Friday that I see out of NVIDIA, surprisingly, since the stock split. So it's been closing pretty high and pretty healthy every Friday. So, it's not always a win. It's not unstoppable. And so, yeah, today, NVIDIA is not going to close at any potential up like green for the day. I don't think so. It stays below 800 in my opinion for the day. It's not going to go any higher. So best case scenario, it sits between 790 and 800. Worst case scenario, it closes below 790. So if it closes below 790, it's going to be tough. Fortunately enough, I don't have any options expiring for Nvidia today, so I still have some potential for some nice gains next week. And S&P 500 continues to truck higher here. Dow Jones as well. And the Russell 2000. What a reversal there. And here, the VIX getting hammered, 1652. So I'm not really inclined here. Nothing exciting. I do have any here, but I already pulled back 350. I'm still up on it. Bought it yesterday. I think it has potential. So potential for a swing there. So we're an hour into the open here. And I don't see anything exciting. Possibly buy a possible buy the dip situation here for Facebook. Maybe. I did like Krispy Kremes. Let's take a look at Krispy Kremes. Okay, ramped up to about 1980. I did see some resistance at 20, and now it's at 1943. So we saw some insider buying there. Krispy Kremes. They bought $100 million worth of shares recently. Insider buying. So huge there for Krispy Kremes. Is valued here at $3 billion, and it has good financials. So this is more of a pure play investment here. Potential for Krispy Kremes longer term. SoFi here, 1690. We're seeing oil here upticks. Lumberjay. We're seeing oil being revived here at these bottoms. Oil making a move here. So we're seeing oil making a comeback. China Cyberspace Administration reportedly removed 25 apps that were operated by Didi from the App Store that claims that the apps illegally collected user data. So more negative news out of Didi. One stock that was highly hyped there for the IPO and is being highly regulated there by the CCP there. More negative news for Didi. So this is as speculative and as worse as it gets here, but potentially could be something worth swinging for there. Purely speculative on a miracle there for Didi coming later in the upcoming weeks or months. So we had an IPO and then just get crushed by negative news day after day. Wow, AMD here. Big move down to AMD yesterday. It's one that we follow, and I didn't take a look at it until right now. It's now down to 89. I think someone was asking me if it would go to like 100 or something like that, or 98, 97. Yeah, That is tough. I was expecting a breather. It landed perfectly here on my 10-day moving average. And that is tough there for AMD. So now we have the NASDAQ green. And we have all the major indexes there green. Big green day for some of the key names there. Apple, big reversal there. Nice on Apple. Let's take a look at Microsoft. Interesting enough, Microsoft not doing much there. Still on a super steady bullish uptrend. Here pulling back Apple at 276. Mark, Wish is also green. Let's see here. Wish here fighting here at 1109 here. Wish. This could have been a short-term bottom there for Wish. Technically, it looks like it. It hit my around $10 price level there for Wish. Polestar SPAC, yes. Let's take a look at it. GGPI. So here, pulling back Polestar SPAC here. GGPI here at pulling back 1044. It hit a high of around 1070. So potential here for a high momentum play there. Polestar SPAC. Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you, Mark. I don't think I don't say it enough. Yeah, guys, if you guys enjoy my streams, make sure to hit the like. When you guys hit the like, basically what it does, the reason why every YouTuber says that or anybody out there, make sure to hit the like button is when you hit the like button, it recommends the video, it recommends the stream to other users who are trying to find similar information, and it just helps it to share it. So yeah, hit the like button, make sure to subscribe out there and support the channel. I appreciate it, guys. Win or lose, I'm out here. So we're out here trading live with real profit and losses. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Oh, they're talking about Virgin Galactic. I'll put it on right now. So NASDAQ here fighting. S&P 500 doing a lot better. AMMPF tanking. That looks like a over-the-counter stock there. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with over-the-counter stocks. According to plan, Sir Richard Branson will make his long-awaited journey
The Unity 22 mission is the first of 3 final test flights scheduled to take place over the next few months as Virgin Galactic looks to relaunch ticket sales later this year and then start commercial service in early 2022. Currently busy training ahead of Sunday, as to be expected. Branson, along with 3 employees, will test the cabin experience on this 4th crewed suborbital flight for the VSS Unity spaceship. This has been a long time coming for Branson. He founded Virgin Galactic in 2004. He's invested upwards of $1 billion personally over the years. And the mission coming just 9 days ahead of direct competitor Blue Origin, as that company plans to fly its own founder, Jeff Bezos, past the edge of space as well. Now, there are some key differences in the details of these trips, but overall, both speak to the long dreamed of, long discussed, long speculated about space tourism market that is finally emerging. Shares of Virgin Galactic, since they are publicly traded and we talk about them so much, are trading around $50 right now. They're up about 12% over the past week since Branson did announce this flight. They're up more than 100% since the start of the year. So what does all of this mean for investors in the space sector, especially as we also see a growing number of space names come to the public market? Well, joining us now is Chad Anderson, Space Capital Managing Partner. Chad, great to have you. How major of a milestone are these space flights by these billionaire founders over the coming weeks?
It's a big deal, and, it's a great time to be investing in the space economy. I mean, as you mentioned, this is 20 years of effort that's all coming to fruition at the same time by multiple companies. So, these flights, the human space flights, are incredibly important to generate public awareness of what's going on and all of the incredible progress that's happening. But, for us, and the real opportunity here for investors is really in the data.
All right, so when you talk about data, I think about 2 different names that announced they're going to go public via SPAC mergers this week, Satellogic and also Planet, which I believe you're an investor in. When we talk about data and the monetizable opportunities, the investable opportunities there, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, we've been operating in space for decades, and we've had satellites in orbit that have been generating incredibly valuable data about our planet. Large legacy systems, highly capable, but it's been in a very limited market. A handful of defense contractors on one side and the government as a customer on the other. And so everything that was built has been built for these very sophisticated customers. And what Planet and what Satellogic and others are doing is really making this data more accessible. In the 2010s, cloud computing really reshaped enterprise, but satellites, for the most part, did not participate in that. Today, you've got Microsoft and Amazon, and basically all of big tech is alert and aware of the opportunity in space data. They're all trying to get this Earth observation data onto their cloud for the storage and the compute, and for all the value-added services on top of that. So they're really removing the complexity from the system and making it accessible for not just governments, but businesses and consumers to tap into this really valuable data set.
So just to shift back to human space flight and this idea of commercial space tourism for a moment, so much attention is focused on the so-called billionaire space race. Branson, Bezos, Musk, who does something totally different. He does the orbital flights with the Dragon crew capsule that are coming up later this year as well. I mean, how big is the total addressable market for actual space tourism? Is it something that you would be putting money to work in right now?
So it's a very interesting question, and it's just one of many categories within the space economy that we're monitoring and looking at. And I think a lot of people are comparing Bezos and Branson here because you've got 2 suborbital flights that are launching, in the next week and a half. So that's very interesting. But actually, the ambitions of Blue Origin are much more comparable to SpaceX and what they're trying to do. So this is just one piece of what Blue Origin is doing, these suborbital flights. They're also looking at larger rockets for launch. They have hiring job recs out for orbital habitat designers. They're really interested in a lot of these larger projects, human lander systems for the moon. They're in a fight right now with SpaceX to try and get some of that budget from Congress to support Blue Origin. And so they're the comparison is really more between Blue Origin, Bezos, and Musk at SpaceX. Although progress is a very different story. But no, I mean, space tourism is and human spaceflight is really taking off. So this week is a big week in the suborbital flights. But you've got SpaceX has multiple orbital flights launched. The Inspiration 4 mission. They've launched 2 crewed missions for NASA. They have more missions booked. All commercial, fully private missions later this year and into the next 2 years, as well as a trip that's booked to fly someone around the moon. So this is really an interesting time where we're seeing it all come together.
Yeah, well, Chad, it's also an interesting time because so much capital is coming at this industry, broadly speaking. But I'm curious, as somebody who's allocating that capital, is there a particular part of what we call space right now that you think is going to return or have a greater return than perhaps another part?
Yeah, and I can share with you some preliminary numbers. Every quarter we put out data on startup, trends and investment activity in this category. And there's been about $10 billion invested into Q2 into space companies, which brings the total over the last 10 years to $200 billion into about 1,500 unique space companies. So a lot of activity, particularly over the last few years. And in Q2, half of that $10 billion went into infrastructure companies. So the rockets and the satellites that are generating this data, the data suppliers. And this was also the largest quarter on record for infrastructure investment. So thinking about your portfolio and how we think about investing in this category, you don't want to put it all into the hardware. A lot of the value is actually in the application of this. So what we're really looking to do is we're noticing all of this infrastructure investment. We're trying to understand and monitoring very closely what are the data plays that are going to be built on top of this infrastructure and leveraging all of this new data. Climate is a key area for us. There's a huge climate opportunity right now, and we're seeing a trend of more founders starting companies to focus on this area, and we've already started to deploy some capital into some of these companies.
Yeah, and I've heard that comparison made that some of these companies that are actually coming to market now, names like Planet, for example, could potentially be ESG plays because of that. Finally, Chad, for investors that are maybe awakening to this sector right now, in some ways I kind of think of it very similarly to investing in biotech. You need to have some sort of concept of the science, of the technicals. Some of these stocks can be very volatile as well, the ones that are already publicly traded. What are some of the, I guess, key methodologies or metrics that you use to value?
Yes, I mean, absolutely. This is a new category. I mean, we've been, again, operating in space for decades, but as an investor category, an opportunity for investments, it's really over the last 5 or 10 years. And so there's a lot of excitement here. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of really incredible achievements that are capturing the imagination. What's important here is to stay grounded and focused, again, not just on the smoke and the fire of the rockets, but also thinking about the data that's coming from these satellites and how space satellite data is the invisible backbone that powers our global economy. There is, and so the way that we look at the opportunity set is really looking at GPS, the greatest space technology success story in history, generated trillions of dollars in economic value, some of the largest venture outcomes in history. We're seeing the same thing now play out in geospatial intelligence and satellite communications. And so, we're looking across those 3 technology stacks and looking for investment opportunities in those areas.
All right, Chad Anderson, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And that was the latest from Virgin Galactic. So, pretty interesting. We're going to have the test flight on Sunday. Space race with SQBG halted. Space racer SQBG. SQBG halted. This looks very interesting here. Let's throw it on here. Sequential brands. Of course, we're not going to be able to see the data here. I feel like we've seen this name recently. Let me look at some more information on sequential brands, SQBG. Is there any news there on SQBG? Very interesting move there, SQBG. Trying to find some news here. Good call there, guys. Good call. We're seeing massive call buying there on Apple. SQBG here. Let me do some research there, see what's going on there. It has a reasonable there, 11% short interest of free float, and it is one that is potentially squeezing here. SQBG could be something. So this looks very interesting to me right now. SQBG here. It is a 11 point. Let me get the numbers here. It's highly ranked here for a potential short squeeze. Short interest of free float here, 11.16%. Has pretty good potential there. Days to cover, 0.01 days. So I guess it's 2 days to cover. And short volume ratio of 25%. So we have potential here with SQBG. We're going to have to wait and see after it gets unhalted here, SQBG. Good find there, PR. Good find. I didn't see this one on any of the things that I'm looking at. So here are some of the numbers here. Short volume ratio of 25% and short interest of free float here 11.16%. So that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. We're seeing huge volume coming in here in the past 15 minutes on SQBG here. We saw 200,000 shares traded in the last 5 minutes before it got halted, and then 181 and then 84. So we saw a huge increase out of nowhere here coming in. Prior to that, it was trading during the morning, 2,000, 3,000 shares. And then we got a spike here at 7:20 a.m., 62,000 shares. And then it went back down to 7,000. But that was like the warning sign there. That was a warning of a bigger move coming here potentially. And then we got big volume coming in here, 42,000 shares, 84,000 shares, 181, and 204. So Apple officially hit all-time highs once again. Apple, I saw some August call buying, a lot of call buying on Apple there. It looks like we're going higher S&P 500. So here we're still halted at 1659 SQBG with the potential. It's set up for a big move here. There's no telling where it might go, but I don't really have visual here on level 2. It's scrutinized, and we are seeing some volume come in here. This is a 5-minute chart on SQBG. Potential price targets here around $18 here. You see some support and resistance around $18. And it recently hit a high of around $27. We're talking about a $10 move here if we see some more attention here coming into this name. So I'm sure by it being halted there is triggering a lot of signals there for a lot of those people who are scanning. It's 1718 now. SQBG moving like a rocket ship here. SQBG. Might take a swing here. So right here, we're seeing here level 2 SQBG volume coming in. It just got unhalted here, and we're seeing a nice level 2 here. And we're continuing to see also options call buying on donuts. So we're seeing some action here, guys. We're seeing some action. There's definitely action happening right now. It's all coming in here. Let's take a look at some technicals here. SQBG here, 1782. Where can this go if it gets into people's radars here? We're going to have to wait and see. Potentially here, $20. Let's take a look at level 2 here, $19. And let's see where this goes. SQBG looking pretty good here. We're seeing a big red volume candle here, SQBG, but we are seeing support here at around $17. Level 2 looking pretty healthy here. It's not currently trending, so if this starts trending, might be something. Now it broke the $17 level. Now it's going down to $16.56. We're going to have to wait and see here. We have the next support level, $16.62 here. Big red volume candle here, and we're going to have to give it some minutes here. 1665 support level 1662, and it is selling off here pretty aggressively. It looks pretty good. Volume is good, but we're gonna have to give it some time here. This has a high potential of a short squeeze plays there. Short interest, a free float 11.16. Potentially maybe that was a move there, and now pulling back pretty aggressively. We did have some support at 1662, and now it's breaking. Next support level, notable support level, 1540, selling off pretty aggressively here now. So we are seeing some support here. It's going to be a wild one, and we're going to have to give it some time here. It does have that volume coming in here. 437,000 shares traded, previously 200,000, and at the open it was only trading 2,000 shares. So we're talking about a 100x volume here from the morning lows there. So this is going to be a wild ride here, and I do see potential here for SQBG. HOF V also coming in hot. Let's take a look at HOF V here. Hall of Fame. This one is one that's trending with the merger. So SQBG here, 1625. We do see some nice volume here, and we are seeing some healthy support, but it continues to sell off. Next support level here, 1590. Nvidia here waking up, 796. We need to wait a few more minutes, another minute before we see the new candle here. Currently not trending, so if this stock starts getting some trending momentum, we can see some nice move out of SQBG here. Level 2 looking decent, but it continued to sell off. I do see some nice buy side here in the short term here. And we do see some resistance here at $20 and at 19.30. $15.40 support there for SQBG, currently at $16.20, and we do also have some support here at around $15.90. So another big red volume candle here, 250,000 on the red. Not looking good here. Potential sell-off after that halt. And it's melting away here. Melting away here big. SQBG now at 1577. Now at 16, 1598. So we're back at 1602 here. We're seeing some support coming in here. Nvidia sold 820 call ending today $320 there. All right, nice. AMD bounced today. Let's take a look at AMD. So we are seeing some action. Very nice bounce there, AMD. We're looking at it earlier. Nice move there from yesterday's lows. So we're seeing the S&P 500 ramping up here along with the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones. Coin Cathy Wood, ARK Invest added another 255,000 shares. Coin here making a nice move from yesterday's low as well. Nice recoup there. Hit 233, now at 251. Nearly a $20 move. Very nice there out of Coin. VIX continues to get hammered here. So it looks like we're going to end the day bullish here. End the day bullish on the markets going into the weekend. So SQBG here, 1573. We need to give it some time to see the next volume candle here, but volume dying out after that halt, and then we saw the big sell-off, and now we're seeing a momentum shift here for SQBG. And the sell-off continues here, 1554. The next support level we see is 1540. And now we see some resistance forming here at 17. So the volume is dying out. The momentum is dying out. We're seeing support, resistance levels getting closer. So now we see some resistance at 17. We are currently at 1565. So we saw a big volume ramping up here. It got halted. And then after we saw it sell off. This is one that is shorted here. Potential for a squeeze here. Potential for a day trade here or a swing trade. We're seeing big wicks coming up here for a potential reversal. We have to wait and see here. So the sells are lining up here. This could create some momentum here. Now 1611, 1630. So now we're holding here at $16. So we are seeing volume dying out here. Volume is red, but still holding around $16. And we're going to continue to see here some nice action. So if we do see here, we saw the stock getting halted here, SQBG here. Big volume coming out of nowhere. Not sure if there's some news there. Let me look it up. I don't see anything. But we did see huge volume come out of nowhere for SQBG, ramping up, got halted, and then we saw a sell-off here. Now that there was some profit taking, they're coming back for some more action here, and now we're seeing a reversal. Volume is slightly dying out here, and we are seeing some resistance being formed at $17. Skills finally moving, cheap calls. Let's take a look at skills here. So this selling is creating some upward momentum. This selling between yesterday, we are seeing the indices now green. S&P 500 here, potentially going to go all-time highs for the end of the day. NASDAQ reversed here very nicely. Dow Jones as well. And the Russell 2000, the VIX getting hammered, going down to 1644. Very nice there. NVIDIA 797. So now we're seeing some resistance forming here, 1694. We see resistance here at 1694, a little bit around the 1750 mark and the $18 mark here. So what we're looking for right now for SQBG is we're seeing, we want to see some momentum come back up here. This is a good sign. We want to see it stay here above 16 for now. And let's draw some lines here. I want to see it stay above 16 here. We did see a sell-off after the halt, and they did some profit taking. And now people are seeing the stock and the opportunity for it to go higher here. And now I want to see a nice reversal here. We are seeing a shift here on level 2, but there is a lot of sellers there, and that could potentially create some upward momentum. We have to wait and see. Earlier we saw a lot of buy side here, but they got trued up. So let's see if we see the reversal now. We see resistance at $17 and $18, a little bit at $17.50. I want to see SQBG here break, go around $20 mark. It was there about what was that yesterday? A few days ago, 3 days ago. It was around $20, and I want to see it come back up there, potentially shatter that area. Recent highs was around $27, $28. So now we're getting some upward momentum here. Huge momentum. I see volume coming in here. We still have 3 more minutes coming in, and we're seeing big volume coming in here. So this looks good for SQBG here. We're seeing the volume coming in here, and prior to the last 5-minute candle, this 5-minute candle is already equal to the volume of the last 5-minute candle here, and we still have 3 more minutes to go. So this is what we want to see. Although volume is big here, they are red candles. Interesting. They're red here and they're green over here. Interesting. So we're seeing some resistance around $18 here. So we're going to have to give it some time here. SQBG now trending. SQBG, that's what I want to see. SQBG at the number 8 spot now trending here. This is good news. It's garnering attention here. So these are the current stock tickers here that are currently trending right now. We have RSLS number 1, Indie Semiconductor, INDI, CCXI at number 3, Apple number 4, HGEN number 5, SafeMoon at number 6, Pubmatic at number 7, and SQBG just hit the board now. So we're going to have more people coming in here, and people are taking notice. So on this one, we did see a lot of buy side get chewed up. So it's potentially this one is working differently. It always is different on level 2. It's not always the same. It's not very binary. It's not that easy. We do see a lot of sales line up here, and I want these sale orders to get chewed up and create that upwards momentum. We are seeing some resistance here at around $20, but who's to say where this goes? We are seeing it now hitting the board trending. SQBG here at the number 8 spot, and I want to see it trend up and go up higher on closer to the number 1 spot. SQBG now 1714. We're seeing momentum here at SQBG. We're seeing big volume coming in here. This candle just closed. Let me see here. So this looks like about 470,000 here. What is this one reading? 300,000. So data slightly different here between the two. We got a good green candle here. 319,000. What does this say? 477. So the numbers are not exactly. Nvidia here, big pop on Nvidia, waking up here, big giant coming back to 800. Nvidia, what a monster. $10 move there. SQBG now down to 16. Can't hold those gains. Come on. We're seeing nice volume coming in here. It's garnering some attention. And this one has potential for the day here. SQBG here now. 7 spot here. Number 7 trending. Selling off pretty aggressively here. Not looking good. This is not looking good. This is definitely one for the books here. A big fight. Bulls versus Bears. Shorts versus retail. It's already been halted once. It has that momentum to be halted again. We're seeing volume coming in and looking healthy here. It started hitting the boards here as a trending stock. So it's at number 7 right now. Trending. Selling off here pretty aggressively. Not a nice look for it. We're going to have to wait and see here what happens. We do see some support at 1575, 1550, and around 15. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. This is going to be one tough battle there. We're going to see a lot of tug of war there. We have 1 minute. We're 1 minute away here. We are seeing a red volume candle there. I want to see it close above $16 here. You can give it minus a few here. And we're going to have to wait and see here. So if we get some more attention here out of SQBG, potential here. $16.18 here for SQBG. Let's take a look at donut here. Krispy Kremes here, close. It's now selling off here below $16. Not a nice look. I'm looking to see it hold here now at $15. Big sell off here. Not looking too sexy at all here. And now we have donut Krispy Kreme, one that I was talking about earlier, not at 20. This is one that I was talking about here. I knew I was going to regret it. I know some of you on the chat got in it. Very nice move there. Let me look through the chat here. Who got in here? Someone got in here. Davis, if you're still on, I'm sure you're liking these gains. The information, the news was good. We got options on it. We got options bull buyers, and we got insider buying. So Krispy Kreme is going to be a great play there. Davis, good job. I knew this was one that that had a potential here, and we're gonna have to wait and see how this pans out. But it has a lot of great catalysts. We have insider buying. We have options available for it today, and we had some nice call flow on the option side of the stock. S&P 500 is now back all-time highs here, and what a squeeze there for the market from yesterday to today. And we're getting some nice action today, and it's coming. Momentum is slightly dying here for SQBG here. Now it's down to 1534. Not a nice look for it. Volume is down, and it is not looking good here. We're going to have to give it some time. It's halted. It's now hitting the boards here, trending here. It now went up one more spot now at number 6 here. SQBG trending at number 6. And we're seeing it rise above all the other tickers here. And people taking notice here. We see some resistance here at 18. Anyway, you're gonna enjoy the ride. Thanks, but I got lost from you one though. Oh. Anyway, gonna enjoy the ride. Right on, right on. 1573 here, SQBG here. Level 2 here. It is straightening out. It's leveling out here at these price levels. We are seeing some support here around the $15 mark. And let's see what we get out of this ticker. We are seeing volume slightly dying out, but we are seeing upticking here and trending here on the boards. So it just needs to garner some more attention, and it has potential here to come higher. Currently at 1557 right now, and it did break my line of support here of $16. I'm not liking this look right now, but it has potential. It could go to 15. It got halted, and after the halt, we did see that sell-off, but now potentially can go higher, and we have to give it some time here to create that momentum. It's currently pulling back and consolidating, and we just have to wait. And not consolidating yet, it's just pulling back, and we have to give it some time here. SQBG here now trending at number 5. It continues to rise on the board here, and it's garnering some attention. So it continues to sell off here. It's at 1550. We see some support here at 1508. And anything more notable here is around 14. Microsoft back to 280 level next week, potentially. Microsoft here, not necessarily going back to all-time highs here, but a nice healthy pullback. We're going here all-time highs. Let's go S&P 500. The Nasdaq here also nice run there. Dow Jones, Russell 2000, VIX getting hammered. And we're getting a little bit of action on this Friday. I'm not going to lie. Pretty good. There is action. It was a little somber morning open here. And we are seeing action here. We got Krispy Kremes here. Donut also looking very strong. Insider buying. Call options looking fantastic. We also have a short squeeze in the mix here. SQBG being the squeeze of the day. Slightly pulling back now. So we are seeing a mixed bag of different action. We're going to have to give it some time. Let's look here. Volume slightly dying out here. Let's see here in the ranking what is going on with SQBG. Currently at number 5. It continues to come up higher here on the rankings here. Looking pretty good here. I'm very optimistic, and I think it has potential here. I want to see it shatter this high of, what was this? Of 1870. I want to see another circuit breaker, and this is a pretty good level here. Pulling back, it could pull back up to around $15. Good support here. This is just profit taking, but now that it's getting more attention, it has potential here for a nice rally. So SQBG continues to trend here, and we just have to give it some time and swing for the fences here. Good potential. This is a $25 million market cap company, so relatively small. So it's highly shorted, and it has that potential for a nice big parabolic move. So it already got halted once, and we can potentially see it get halted for a second time here. So some pretty decent action here. I'm very optimistic today on this one, and I'm looking for a nice second parabolic move. So we are seeing volume dying out here, but we are seeing consolidation here, a nice balance here on the bid and the ask side. So good potential here. I wanted to see it stay above $16. We'll give it a break here, and it's staying above 1550. So we'll give it a 50-cent break here. We are seeing the 10-day moving average coming in here, so it looks like it wants to stabilize in this area, which I'm okay with. I wanted to garner more attention, create some momentum, and I want to see it tick higher. So we were seeing in the morning, this stock was trading around 2,000 shares here. Rarely any volume at the open. And we got a crazy uptick here, peaking at almost 437,000 shares traded, which is insane. That's 200x from the lows of the volume. And now we're seeing the volume slightly die out. We're still trading 62,000 shares, but I think it's garnering some attention, and it's consolidating here around the $16 level, 1550 area. And we want to see it consolidate for a little bit and then see another second wave of huge volume inflows coming in and push the stock higher. So momentum is dying here. Volume is dying here. 1562. Wait, it's not moving. I mean, it definitely didn't get halted. Didn't do a parabolic move here. Okay, there we go. So looks like volume is dying. So it looks like the volume is dying here. We are seeing a balance here on the level 2. And it's not really making a move here. 1577. One thing of caution here that I'm not being a big fan of at the moment is this is a stock that's not very liquid. It doesn't have a lot of volume. So right now volume is drying up. It's not good. But obviously today, big volume coming in. Okay, we're seeing a little bit of uptick here. In the past 10 minutes, we had 62,000 shares traded. Green volume there, good buying. And then we're up now 119,000 shares traded in the last 5 minutes. So just a little bit of action here. We just saw a little change here on level 2. But it looks like it's drying up here. So now 16 is looking like it's acting like a line of resistance, which is Not so hot. So another one potential for a parabolic move here for a nice squeeze is any ticker symbol ANY. And it ramped up around 380 here, pulled back to 350, and now consolidating. So things are drying up here. Things drying up. Nvidia pulling back, I'm sure. Yes. Got challenged there at the $800 level there. Resistance at the $800 level for Nvidia. So we already have about 5 million shares traded there on SQVG. 4.8 million shares traded. Average volume for the past 10 days is 4.6 million shares. So we're just here in the morning at the open and already have more than average volume. So plenty of day to go here. Big potential there. And we want to see some more buyers come in here. More volume, more buyers. Things definitely dried up here. So it's holding around 1550 here. Let's take a look at some donut. Donut couldn't break the $20 level here, pulling back, and it's currently at 1958. S&P 500 all-time highs here for the S&P 500, closing green. It looks like big parabolic move. Wow, what a reversal! Super easy trade there for those buying the dip. I didn't have the confidence, and I was fully exposed there, so I didn't do much there. But wow, what an opportunity. I know some of you guys bought SPY calls and some of you guys did some nice bounce trades. Well done, guys. Here, NASDAQ inching higher, trying to go to all-time highs, and it has potential. Dow Jones here, big move there. 1.29%. Dow Jones looking good. Russell 2000 here recouping 1.75%. And the VIX hammered here 1622 for the VIX. Okay, so we're getting some action. SQBG 1630. Let's go. So I'm going to stay on for this one here. I'm going to stay on. I did open a position here, so I'm going to stay on and check this one out for the day. Okay, so we're seeing a nice uptick here. We broke out of the $16 level, looking pretty here. 1637. Let's go, baby. Come on, let's go. So we have a $20 level here. We're seeing volume coming in here. You can see this green candle. We're 1 minute away from the close, and we got some nice volume upticking coming in here, looking very nice. And this is a consolidation that we wanted to see here, and looking very good here. We do see some resistance at $18 and $19. But if the momentum comes in here, they can come in here and scoop them up and buy them up. So we're getting some volume here. Nice big green candle there. Looking nice. Looks like the momentum is back. And let's see if we get a nice follow through here, or we get a false breakout here. So we got good volume there coming in here. In the last 5-minute candle, we broke out of the $16 level, which is nice to see here. And SQBG here going higher. We do see a lot of heavy selling here and resistance. So it's going to be a battle. Not going to be easy, but I am feeling optimistic, and I think this one has good opportunity here. SQBG now upticking. I like this momentum here. Let's see here at the top. Now we have SQBG here trending at number 3, garnering a lot of attention, and we do see a price change here of 32.69%, and now is up when before it was not even trending, and then it started around the number 8 spot, slowly made its move up to 7 and 6, and now it's at number 3, soon to be number 1, and I think we have a winner here. Gonna have to give it some more time. SQBG here, short volume ratio of 25%, short interest percentage of free float 11%. So pretty decent. It has a good short squeeze potential there. This is definitely a momentum stock. We saw it recently hit around $28, and right now we're looking at $20 at a line of resistance. So hopefully we can create enough momentum to run up to those levels. We did see nice volume coming in here in the last 5 minutes. So far in these 5 minutes, not too hot. Krispy Kreme here pulled back. Now it's at 19.39, so it couldn't break that $20 level. So I'm happy to see it staying above $16. Currently at 16.30. As soon as I said that, pulling back to 16. Now we're below again. So now we're at 15.75. So volume definitely died out here. This is a new candle here. So we're getting some pretty sporadic volume. So previous candle, we got slightly lower volume, around 200,000 shares traded. Let's see what this tells us here. SQBG now at the number 2 spot trending stock. Now rising up. This is a good sign here. And we want to see that volume coming in here. And this is not refreshing. It's at $16 right now. So now we have things slowing down. There was definitely some action happening earlier. Slowing down a bit here. All-time highs here for the S&P 500. Unbelievable. We're closing green again. All-time highs here. We're just a few inches away for the NASDAQ to close. We still have plenty of time for the day. And wow, what a turn of events here. A wild ride here in the past 2 days. And Dow Jones here, all-time highs. Going to close to all-time highs. Going to close. Amazing reversal here. VIX getting hammered, 1626. We are also seeing oil stocks here going up here. Let's see here. Some of the names here. GoEV at 890. Let's take a look at Wish. Wish here at $11. Let's look at Vuzi here. 1740. So Krispy Kreme's not pulling back, 1945. SQBG here holding at 16. So some news here. Apple is reportedly in talks with the NFL regarding Sunday ticket games, according to the information. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's hear some Tom Lee. I like his perspective.
It's good to see you, too. When you were on with us a month ago, you downgraded the financials. You double upgraded the FANG stock. Reversing it today. Why?
Thanks. Central to that view a month ago was the idea that consensus was expecting rates to push too high. In other words, we thought actual rates would undershoot. Had to do with the idea that inflation expectations were coming down and GDP growth wasn't necessarily accelerating. Now we've, I think, had a growth scare that really peaked yesterday. I think the headline might have been the Tokyo Olympics, but that really pushed the 10-year down to 1.25. And now we think the conditions are set for interest rates to shoot above consensus expectations. In other words, we think rates are drifting higher. That's going to lift basically the entire epicenter complex, which has moved in lockstep with interest rates.
Okay. So I hear you. Okay. The problem I have with this call today, Tom, is that you yourself say your conviction is only 60%. I'm wondering, why make a call like that and go public with it if your conviction is only 60%?
Yeah, that's correct. Number one, we can only be 100% sure in the rearview mirror. So I can only be 100% sure a month from now. But the reason we think 60% is a really good change is, number one, the 10-year yield did bounce off the 200-day. That was an important level to hold. Second, we're pretty confident that there's a lot of pent-up demand, revenge consumer spending, and CapEx, which means GDP growth will be strong. And we know the Fed's going to be supportive. So the idea now that people think rates could undershoot makes us think you want to counter trade that. And again, 60% is, I think, adequate to make a reversal. You're right. It's a big change to be based on only 60% knowledge, but I didn't really want to wait any longer. We sent it out as an intraday because we just felt that was the moment to send out the notice.
Okay, I understand. Better to be early, right? In your mind, I guess that's how you're thinking of it. You just said that there's a lot of consumer demand. You know what else there's a lot of, Tom? There's a lot of liquidity, right?
Yes.
So why?
Correct.
Why do you think rates are going to go up from here if they've come down so far from their peak?
Yeah, Scott, that's a great question. I think three things drive interest rate change. One is growth expectations versus consensus, and the second is inflation expectations versus consensus, and the third is sort of what you call like interest rate VIX, the risk of future changes. And I think that there has been a fall in the 5-year break-evens, which is why inflation expectations come down, but that's stabilized. I actually think it could start to rise because, again, there is all that liquidity you're talking about. And on the GDP side, even though we've got the Delta variant and people think that poses growth risk, that's what I think is getting priced in now. So I think once we're through the Delta variant scare, which could take several weeks, growth expectations will actually be edging up, and that should push rates higher. So you're right. I think there's a lot of liquidity, but it may go more into equities because it has been really scary to watch the 10-year fall to 1.25. I mean, it's been disturbing.
It has. I'm just wondering if you look at let's just say the market action today specifically, I'm kind of hard pressed to believe that this tech move that we've seen in the last few weeks is going to reverse itself anytime soon and all of a sudden go back into the epicenter names, right? Once these big FANG Plus stocks have gotten a bid, I mean, the trend is your friend, and there is momentum behind a lot of these names. Apple being the latest stock in that group to hit a new high, which it just did today. You know yourself, once these things get going a bit, it's hard to break that track.
Correct. I'm with you on that, Scott. I think FANG is going to detach itself from interest rates, meaning they're going to have a great second half, not because rates are going to fall, but because these are great companies that almost did nothing in the first half. So we think if the S&P ends the year up 25, and a lot of these FANGs are up 5-6%, they could be up 20% in the second half. That makes them an overweight. That's why we still want to own FANG, even though we think there's an explosive rally in epicenter coming.
Wow. Let's get the gang involved in this conversation if we could, Tom. Farmer Jim, you're up first. You got something for Tom Lee?
Yeah, well, I'm going to play off of this Apple commentary, the discussion you guys were just having, because, you know, it's up 20% in 3 months. And when it was back at 120, it was in correction territory. That was the time you were supposed to load up. And I look at the reflation trade right now, and whole swaths of it have corrected or more than corrected, right? Look at the airlines. Those are off more than 10%. The financials across the board more than 10%. Isn't this a time that, and Tom, you've been so on this that I think I know your answer. Aren't you just supposed to say, all right, we've been going through rolling corrections. We're going to get rolling corrections. Fine, I'll stay with Apple. It sets a new high. It keeps going. But aren't you supposed to pivot to what has corrected recently, namely the reflation trade, and just get big in it?
That's right. If I was putting on a tactical hat and said, okay, well, where is your chance to have really big positive surprise? It's really in groups that have corrected, as you pointed out. And I was looking at everything from the industrials to the financials to the materials to energy. These have had massively deep, scary corrections. It seemed to have moved in lockstep with interest rates. But again, many of these groups found support at the 100-day, and they're still in uptrends, especially groups like energy. So I think that as a tactical matter, if you're at the bottom end of a channel and you're in an uptrend, these are things that could move 10, even 20% in a month.
He wants you to hold his hand, Tom, and make him feel better about his financials trade. The one that he had so much conviction about yesterday, was fighting back with me about. He thinks those stocks are going to do so well, even in a low-rate environment. That's what this is about. I'm cutting right through
Scotty,
the you-know-what to the heart of his question.
Well,
Scotty, I know it's just an oversight on your part that you're not congratulating me on Apple and loading up on that in March. And I know that you will come around by the end of the show and say what Jimmy has been saying in the last few days about financials is eerily reminiscent about what he was saying about Apple 3 months ago. I love you, Judge. I love you.
All right, Tom Lee, I know you were trying to say something.
Oh, I would just say, yeah, I think financials keep up with the market. I mean, some of these are really blue chip businesses now. They've really managed through what would have been an extinction event last year, and they came out with great balance sheets. I mean, that's true of basically most of the S&P. These are unkillable companies. Their multiples will re-rate, and I think maybe in July we get a a broadening of the market participation. That's a risk on. I mean, I think VIX is really the thing I'm watching, but it could be a risk on period.
Interesting. The birthday boy, Kevin O'Leary, is with us today, too. Happy birthday, Kev.
Thank you. Thank you.
What do you think of this call from Tom Lee? I mean, he essentially says rates bottomed earlier this week.
Okay, but I guess, Tom, and I'm a fan, but I'm going to push back a little bit here. Basically, what you're telling me, I want to distill the essence of your call, your 60% conviction, which I don't really consider conviction, but you're telling me rates are going to go up in the back end of the year. And that as a result of that, I should expect PE compression, because I feel and I believe when we start earnings next week, 80% of the S&P that are going to be called out next week on the print are going to beat their already raised estimates. The economy is on fire. The consumer is on fire. GDP growth will be double-digit in Q4. So for me to get concerned about your interest rate concern, you're telling me that all of that good news on earnings, which I think drives prices, is going to get compressed. I have to believe in your call it has to be PE compression across the board. False or true?
I mean, generally, I'd agree that rising rates could compress PE because it raises the specter of the Fed needing to tighten or being behind the curve. But because we're in an environment where the Delta variant is causing hesitancy, I mean, I think OPEC's decisions reflected that. And I think in earnings, companies are going to say that they're going to slow down their double ordering because of the Delta variant, or the CapEx could be on hold. That's going to keep the Fed dovish. So we could have drifting higher rates, but PE's expanding because we know the Fed is essentially has to pause to get some clarity. So I think we're in an environment where rates go up and PE actually goes up.
So, Shannon, I think it's fair to say Tom Lee maybe deserves the benefit of the doubt, just for the simple fact that if someone's track record is pretty good, we'll say, okay, we're willing to listen to you, even if your own conviction is just 60% in making this call. Are you giving Tom Lee the benefit of the doubt? Do you think this call is going to be correct?
I think it may be challenged. And Tom, I think you would agree, we've entered this period of chop. And so if we talk about the epicenter stocks in general, I do think you need to be selective. And I go back to a comment, Tom, that you just made about OPEC. I have a lot of concerns about the energy complex over the next several months, into the third and fourth quarter, just given the fact that clearly there is a inelegant or ineffective collusion going on at the OPEC level. And then if you couple that with some of these Delta variant concerns and even the overhang or the specter of potentially that this economic growth boom that we're anticipating could take a little bit longer to manifest, how do you marry that with this? Are there certain areas of the epicenter that you feel you're more comfortable with? But I know you like energy, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on why you're still bullish there.
Sure. And it's true. I think there are a lot of risks out there. I mean, that's one reason why I think the market is going through a growth scare. Groups like industrials look really healthy now. I think especially if they can close around here because it looks like they're ending a consolidation period, which would be good. On energy, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that when we look at oil and even the sort of the futures curve, they've moved up across the board since the start of the year, anywhere between $8 all the way up to $15 per barrel, even 10 years out, which means that the commodities market does believe structurally oil prices are higher, but energy stocks are acting like oil's going down. Compared to 2019, and oil's up 14%, OIH is still down 22%. That's almost a 40% move just to catch up with oil. So we think unless the oil futures market is wrong, energy stocks have a lot of catching up to do.
Tom,
on the upside.
You said 4,400, right? That was your target, and you said you thought we could hit that in the first half of the year, right, by the middle of the year, and then you were expecting some chop, I think is how you phrased it at the time, into July. It sounds like you may be growing even more bullish than you were in the past. What's your target on where we're going now? By the end of the year, let's just say next 6 months. Where's the S&P ending this year?
Scott, I think that history says strong first halves lead to strong second halves. First half of 2021 might even almost be a top 10 first half ever. If it's up 9%, that's around 4,700. So I think the S&P still has a big move in the second half. It might be a pretty broad rally if interest rates don't act volatile. So I think that 60% as it gets higher and as we're only drifting up steadily, I think we could have a big rally of even above 4,700.
Wow, that's bullish to say the least. You're also picking some stocks, right? I mean, we usually focus on your broad market calls, but you do have some specific stock calls within your epicenter complex. John Najarian, you're in Best Buy, right? You're long those calls. Tom Lee, that's in his list of, say, 15 or so stocks that he thinks you're going to have a nice little run here.
Yeah, and I still like that one a lot, Scott. Obviously, we're going to be coming into a season where Apple brings out the iPhone 13 or whatever they're going to call it, and that brings up foot traffic to Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T, and of course, Best Buy and the Apple stores. So I like that. And I also like what Tom's talking about with energy, quite frankly, Scott, because energy, when I looked at it today, energy was in the last month, and I'm measuring crude oil for that energy right now, Scott. It was up, I think, 12%, and the airlines were down 6%. That's a big 18% spread over the last month. And I think energy, even though I'm still bullish on it, probably sort of tops out here. I don't know that we get to 100. I think we keep pushing towards it. But again, it's all about pace. It's about pace with bonds. It's about pace with energy as well. If it moderates, and it usually does after the 4th of July peak, then we start seeing those airlines catching up, both from the fact that that big input isn't moving up as fast, and perhaps from them getting more pilots, attendants, gate people, and everybody else back to airports. Consumers want it, and it's just a question of getting enough of those other folks back to their jobs to get those airlines really moving. And even on a big down day yesterday, Scott, you couldn't really knock American Airlines, Delta, or United down that hard, and they all came back pretty fast today.
Yeah, Tom's got some airlines. Delta, Jimmy's Alaska is on his list, JetBlue, Southwest. Degas, you're in the epicenter of Tom Lee's epicenter. Best Buy, MGM, Hilton, Southwest, EOG. Those are all on Tom's list of stocks he thinks you need to focus on if he's going to be right that rates are going to start moving higher and there's going to be a bit of a reversal in part of that trade.
Scott, exactly. And we believe that we're going to get that recovery. That reflation trade will continue to work because what we're really seeing is that we're liking the positioning of the Federal Reserve. And it reminds me of a quote by General MacArthur that said that a true leader has confidence to be alone and also the courage to move on, and then also the compassion to meet the needs of others. And what we see with the Federal Reserve is that the Fed chair, Powell, he's moving in the right direction. He's making very good decisions because a few weeks ago, everyone was saying that he was making the wrong decisions. So we're very supportive of where the Fed is and where we are with the economy. And we're seeing that this reflation trade will really work going forward.
All right, we'll always take an Army guy quoting General MacArthur. That's welcome on the halftime report any day of the week. All right, Tom Lee, my last question to you before I let you run and get off to the Hamptons or wherever you're going this weekend. So, okay, 4,700 is where you think we can go on the S&P by the end of the year. But I'm worried, like, well, okay, well, what happens in August at Jackson Hole? So are you making a call that the Fed doesn't do anything in calendar year 2021, and that means taper?
Yes, I'm making implicitly a bet that the Fed doesn't negatively surprise the market. So we could be in August where the conditions are appropriate and the market is not going to see it as a negative element for the Fed to taper. But you're right, that there is a lot of uncertainty between now and then. I think we need to really get a robust earnings season underway, the confidence in the growth recovery taking place. And then I think people will want the Fed to talk about tapering.
Yeah, well, they probably want them to start talking about it now, but we'll see. Tom, I appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend. We always enjoy speaking with you. That's Tom Lee, Fundstrat, with a bit of a reversal call on the market. All right, let's switch the conversation. Tom Lee, Farmer Jim, mentioned earnings starting next week, which you've mentioned every week. I say, Jim, what's the catalyst? What's the next catalyst? And every single time you say earnings, earnings, and earnings. So here we are on the doorstep.
Yeah, I know, and I get what you're implying because even I feel like I'm being a broken record, but Scott, I'm going to say it again. I think that's what matters because the conversation you were just having with him about multiples and, contracting multiples in a rising interest rate environment. Okay, maybe that does happen. It makes a lot of sense, right? But what if earnings are going up faster than we've seen multiples come down? That's happened in some cases already this year, like with Apple, by the way, just to go back to that. But that's really what I'm calling for here is that I think it's a lock that the second quarter earnings, when we get the report, are going to be even greater than the 60% year-over-year growth that's implied. Now, you and I both know it's the guidance that matters as well. And sure, there will be some talk about supply chain bottlenecks and margin pressures, but the aggregate demand is still there. There's still a lot of that liquidity in the system, which in addition to finding its way into financial assets, finds its way into the real economy. So I'm thinking that some of these stocks that have flatlined or even worse over the last 2 months are going to catch their wind as earnings come out and the guidance is better than expected.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to rain on anybody's, happy talk parade or anything, Kevin O'Leary. Mike Wilson over at Morgan Stanley, he says a 10 to 15% correction's coming. I mean, it's going to be a buying opportunity, but he says the market's solidly mid-cycle. And with that, typically comes a 10 to 15% index level correction. We expect such a correction will create buying opportunities given a still strong growth backdrop. You think we're setting up for a pullback like that?
No, that's not the personality of this market. We have seen sectors correct. We've seen stocks correct. We've seen rolling corrections. We've seen, move out of tech, move back into tech, everything in the 5% range. Real corrections are 15 to 20%. And the reason I don't think we're going to see that in the rest of this calendar year, and probably for the 2 quarters into next year as well, is the economy is really doing well. And I think you're going to see evidence of that right through these earnings reports. And I anticipate 80% will beat, as that they've been doing on almost every quarter. we're in an extraordinary resurgence at the consumer level now, buoyed by all the liquidity the government provided and the fact that the Fed has been very accommodative and remains that way. And if Tom's right and there's no moves by the Fed to the back end of the year, it sets up for an extraordinary uplift because there's not much competition for equities. I got to deploy capital. I'm trying to make 6% year in, year out. I'm not putting it into a 10-year with a 1-2 handle on it. That makes no sense. So we don't have competition fixed income from even credits. And so, no, I don't think we're getting a 15% correction. And it makes people feel uneasy. Everybody likes to climb a wall of worry and beg for the correction to get a buying opportunity. That has not been the profile of this market, and it's not going to be. Watch what happens next week. With the exception of financials, which I'm not that bullish on because the interest rates are still too low, everything else is going to really perform. And that's just a result of good, old-fashioned cash flow. Why? Margins are higher, productivity is higher, business travel and expenses are down. All of this is great. S&P is going to kill it.
So I feel almost, Degas, like investors are, after you listen to Tom Lee and you have a look at where rates have been this week, I feel like they're almost in a bit of a conundrum. It's like you're positive on things, but, well, rates are where they are, 125 earlier in the week. Now we're at 133. They're obviously still low. NASDAQ's getting a big bid. I'm feeling maybe I do want to start loading back up on that growth trade and tech. But then I got Tom Lee saying, well, rates are going to start going back up. You really want to be in the epicenter names. I'm looking at the Bank of America flow show note today. Money moved out of value and into growth this week. It's the third week of outflows from value and the second week of inflows into tech. So I'm trying to, make up my mind as an investor. What am I supposed to do? I look at Degas and he buys NVIDIA, which is, off to the races, and and Adobe. So you're putting your money where your big belief in the market is, and that is in tech.
Exactly, Scott. And so what we're looking at is that NVIDIA, for instance, is basically benefiting from two trends. One is the demand for chips for cars, computers, and gaming. The second thing is that many companies are moving to the cloud. And with the cloud is the data centers that uses the technology of AI. And NVIDIA is leading in that space. So we really like this because we see those trends continuing for NVIDIA. You mentioned Adobe. Adobe is the leader in the market for digital media, and it continues to lead in that market. And for instance, everyone is moving towards e-signature. Well, Adobe has the Echo sign, which is the leading solution in that space. We really like Adobe because of good valuation, profitability, and these tailwinds will continue.
I'm looking at NVIDIA right now, wondering why you just hadn't bought it earlier. I mean, Josh Brown comes on this show all the time. He talks about it all the time.
Well, Scott, let me share with you. We added to our position on NVIDIA. So we've owned NVIDIA since 2019. So we got in early.
Okay. But you're willing to still add more even at these, what some might say are elevated levels.
When we look at the valuation and we're looking at the free cash flow yield, we're seeing that NVIDIA, even at these levels, has a very good free cash flow yield valuation metric that we use. So we're comfortable at these levels with NVIDIA.
Let me so we're talking tech. Let me just go back to Apple for a second, because I noted it in passing with Tom Lee that the stock had hit a new all-time high. I'm just pulling it up as we have this conversation here because I want to look at it in real time as all of you are looking at it on the TV, of course. 145.44 was the high in the stock today. Jim Lebenthal, you help me out. Did you say earlier this week, or maybe it was, it had to be early this week because last week I wasn't around. You think Apple's going to 175 by the end of this year? Is that what you said?
Well, so integrity demands that I tell you I thought it was going to 150 by the end of the year, but that's what I was saying in March when it was 120, 122. So, now I'm looking at it, and for everybody's, public service announcement, when Apple sets a new high, generally it goes a lot higher. Now, the exception to that was the fourth quarter earnings report in late January where it set a new high and then immediately backed off. I think that's the aberration. I think this thing's going to be 150 plus, this month. So I'll tell you what, I'll take your target. You could put those words in my mouth. 175, you know what? I'll put it out there. I think it's a reach, but I'll bet we get there this year.
John and Jerry, and that's kind of what I was saying to Tom Lee, right? Is, once stocks like Apple and those big mega cap techs, the Microsofts, new high during the week. Amazon, new high during the week. Alphabet, Facebook, new highs. We're just waiting on Apple. And Apple finally did it. Once you get momentum in those names, it's hard to crack it.
Right, and that momentum continues again today, Scott. Didn't do it for unusual activity, but they're buying the 152.50 calls that expire in 2 weeks. It's the 9th of July today, the 23rd of July expiration calls, 152.50. So there's a lot of people thinking that Farmer Jim's right, that this thing's going to be through 150 and perhaps even through 152.50 or so by the end of this month. I am in that camp. I am a believer, and if we do see an easing somewhere in the summer here, Scott, I would think it would be during the doldrums just after the earnings and into the fall when they have that anticipated new phone introduction.
All right, good stuff. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We've got earnings coming up next week, as we said. We've got our call of the day, big call on a stock owned by someone on the committee today. I'm not going to tell you who, because that might give it away. And we have unusual activity with Dr. J. We're back right after this.
Pretty interesting there. So they're talking about potential interest rates going back up. Oh, Chris, I just saw your message there. Apple to sell tickets. Maybe they're doing, they're talking about the NFL and Apple selling tickets. So maybe they're going to do something with the digital ticket selling through Apple Pay and through the phone, I guess. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. It was just someone posted something briefly on that. I would have to look for the article. But interesting nonetheless. So Tom Lee says, he thinks interest rates bottom here and it's going to go higher, but tech will probably still be the winner. I did see the options, unusual options of activity. They're buying the 152.50s here on Apple, just broke all-time highs. It's a super big move there for Apple. Apple's a $2.4 trillion company right now, and making that move would be very significant to the market cap. So people seeing a big parabolic moves out of the S&P 500 and big tech on the next 2 weeks. So big move there. These were just buying opportunities according to what they're looking at, and who knows what the next few days and weeks have in store for us. So I'm going to end the stream here. SQBG totally died on me. It didn't work out here. It still has a lot of potential, but it's not one that I was willing to hold out. So let's zoom here. Volume is dying out. It is trending. It's highly shorted here. It has a lot of potential, but it's just not one that I'm going to swing trade. It's something that I was looking into intraday. So I'm going to stick to holding my other positions here. And what a wild week. We had a massive pullback and then a nice reversal today. And we still have some losers out there. But if you do see here on my watch list, a lot of green out there. Large cap stocks and mega cap stocks are being the clear winners here. And big red week for me too this week. Down 24,000 this week. I was up around 110. And I'm feeling optimistic for the next couple of weeks. So we'll be back. I appreciate you guys coming and joining. I'll be back Monday morning, same time. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe buttons. Check out my Discord. If you don't like my trading, I have a lot of useful information there. I have news running 24/7 of options activity. Pretty much, some of the stuff that I talk about on the channel, and it's going to be. It has a lot of useful information there. So if you're not into my trading or you have your own trading style, Discord has a lot of great information, and it's running 24/7. So on the weekends, every time I'm waiting in line somewhere or on a weekend or I'm bored or something, I always read something and I try to get some latest information. Davis. Thank you for the compliment, Davis. All right, guys. I hope you guys end the week strong. Not so sexy for me this week, but it's fine. I have some good positions here. I'm optimistic for the following week, and I'm holding nearly half cash on hand right now on my account, so I still have plenty of firepower here. I'm holding more or less half cash on hand, so I'll come back with a vengeance when I see the opportunity, and I'm gonna write out my swing trades for now. Thank you guys for joining. I'll catch you guys on the next one, and let's see better for better days.